You have no idea how closely I followed you. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy is going to disrupt politics. How many 25, 30-year-olds are going to say, I'm going to run for governor because of Kevin? I fully believe that God put this in my heart for a reason. He says the hardest mountain to climb is media. Good luck getting in. You're going to be criticized, demonized. I said, okay, then that's what I'm going to do. The biggest problem we have in America is hero-making machine. We have a problem with hero-making machine. This is probably the worst podcast I've ever done.
Oh no.
Like, I can't wait to read the comments because...
What advice would you give me?
let me explain in what way. She says, there's no way you can resist me. Comes to the house in a birthday suit. And she's like, you're going to say no to this? But I chose to say, I'm changing. Everything in my life changed.
Welcome back to another episode of the Meet Kevin Show. Today, we have the honor and privilege of interviewing in person Patrick Bet-David. Thank you so much for inviting me over here. And the last time I was here, I was running for governor, and I was on your show.
Yes.
Are you announcing that you're running for president now?
No, I'm not born here. I can't run for office.
Do you wish they would change that?
Do I wish they would change that? To me, I understand having a pride to protect the sanctity of something. For example, you've been to crustaceans before in Beverly Hills.
Yep.
This restaurant in Beverly Hills, Crustaceans, they have two kitchens. One kitchen that anybody can go to, and the other one kitchen is only the Ahn family that can go to, because they don't want to, release certain recipes that they're, passed down from generation to generation. I fully respect protecting that. Mm-hmm. I get it. Having said that, I think there are people that love America and would fight for this place way more than people that were born here because they give a different perspective.
Yeah.
But the way I would do it is the guidelines would be, you've had to been living here for 35 years and have certain criterias. You have to do a little bit more than the average guy that's here. Military, public service, cop, firefighter, something you've done that you've given to the country. Because a person that's born here, they're born here, you're coming from the outside, prove to us that you're loyal to America. In that case, you would be able to run.
You've thought about this before.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. And that way you might even unlock somebody like an Elon Musk running, or of course yourself. Or I was born in Germany. I moved here when I was 13 months old. I feel like an American.
You can't run?
I can't.
I didn't know you were born in Germany. We're in Germany, by the way.
Just outside of Düsseldorf, in a small town called Velbert. Yeah.
Wow. I lived in Erlangen for a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
In Germany.
So you know ein bisschen Deutsch?
Yeah, ein bisschen, yeah. Ich war in Erlangen für 2 Jahre, yeah.
Ach du Liebe.
I had a great time. When I was there, the best singer in the world was Matthias Reim. Verdammt, ich lieb dich nicht. Verdammt, ich brauch dich nicht. This was a song, yeah.
I need you,
Obviously, my accent is terrible, but, he does it much better.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak 4, and German. If let's just say you and I we went to Germany for a week, it would come back up. But I would say 4, or German would be the 5th. Yeah, Armenian, my mother; Assyrian, my dad; Persian, Iran; English here.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed coming here, by the way, and the difference over the last 2.5 years, just looking in from the outside, is that you've gone all in on media and the news front with and via YouTube. It's almost like you stole Cardone's 10x and you're like, I'm just gonna 100x, and you've been executing it, and it's been wonderful. I want to see your explosion with it. Is that the next frontier? News through YouTube, the way you're doing it, maybe even to some extent the way Tucker is doing it now after he left Fox. Well, was asked to leave Fox, or however we want to phrase that.
I think there's a lot of guys that have done a great job with content. Obviously, Cardone, you got to applaud him on how he used YouTube and creating content to build the massive real estate portfolio that he's built. I don't know how big it is today. I don't follow a lot of the content. He blocked me a few years ago after I interviewed a Scientologist, and that was the last time he and I spoke. But
congratulations.
Yeah, so
I'm also blocked by Cardone, and I remember meeting you and Cardone at some event in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's right. And I remember you were following him with the camera. This was at Albert Preciado's event.
Yeah.
This is 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Why do you remember that?
Because I remember no, I clearly remember that. You were chasing him down and he was trying to avoid you, if I'm not mistaken. That's right. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 31. My birthday's in 2 days. I turned 32.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
But how old were you at that?
Yeah, that would have been minus 6. I was like 25, 26.
So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah,
I remember
2018.
that.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
I knew you were going to do something because you what was one of the videos, real estate videos, you were running and you're like showing, let me tell you what's going to happen with this video. And you were so like constantly energized. And I actually really wanted to see how far you were going to go as a governor because I wanted to see you as a case study because it would have been so disruptive if you would have made it all the way. I think it would have changed the game for a lot of different things. But going back to the conversation about Cardone, yeah, so I, in 2009, my pastor gets up and gives a speech. And he says, in 2008, I'm trying to figure out what the hell I want to do in my life. I finally found the girl I'm going to marry, my wife today. We got 4 kids together. I found the industry I'm going to be a part of for 20 years, financial. I love it. And I said, okay, but why am I making money? It's got to be bigger than money. So I went and met with a handful of people I respect, a man named Dudley, Bill, and a few other guys. And I said, what should I do? I said, I want to find my purpose because there's no way in the world I've lived this strange life of living in Iran, bomb, refugee camp, military, parents divorced twice, all this stuff. And why are you doing this to me, God? What's happening with this? And they came in. I said, am I supposed to go pastor? Because I privately curse a lot. So my pastor's like, that's not your world. You don't need to go that route. I said, great. I said, what do I need to do? Then eventually I go meet this one man, George Will, at Miramar Hotel. And I'm going through this phase. What the hell am I going to do? I'm like, okay, now, capitalism is my cause. I'm about capitalism. I'm about America. I'm about free enterprise. I can sell that all day. My mother was a communist. Her family was a communist. My dad's an imperialist. We escaped Iran. I kind of know the two worlds, what Karl Marx was all about, what, Wealth of Nations, Milton Friedman, what these guys are about, von Mises. Okay, great. But then Dudley gives a speech and he says, 7 mountains to climb in the world. Family, church, military, business. He's going through all this stuff. And then he says, the hardest mountain to climb is media. And this is in 08, 09 when he gives a speech. Wow. 7 mountains. And I sit there and say, why is media hardest? Very competitive. It's controlled by a handful of people. Good luck getting in. You're going to be, criticized, demonized, all this stuff. That's why a lot of people can't make it. I said, okay, then that's what I'm going to do. And I knew insurance industry I was going to do 20 years. So this is 08, 09. I started 01. I knew I was going to go till 2021, and then I was going to leave the industry. I had a timeline of 20 years, and I wanted to have a certain amount of money. $250 million was my number to have after 20 years. Then I'm going to leave the industry. So 250 is my number. So then I sold 9 months after my 20th year in the business is when I sold the company.
Wow.
9 or 10 months. So
that was your insurance business.
That was the insurance business that we grew from 66 agents to, at the time when we sold, it was, I don't know, like 40,000 agents. Today it's at 50,000 agents. We sold the company. After we sold the company, last year, the EBITDA went up nearly 70% after we sold. So it's not like we sold, now it's worth less. We sold, now it's worth more. So the buyer is happy, relationship,
what
everything
changed?
is
Just
good.
More growth?
We made certain changes in the way we recognize quality of business. We no longer accepted bad business. We no longer recognize any bad business. It went from, like, imagine submitting real estate. We used to recognize for you submitting 6 homes and each is 1.2 million. So 7.2 million versus we're like, no, we don't care how many applications you submitted. We're only recognizing how many homes you sell and close. Right. So maybe that 6 is only 2.8 million. We stopped doing the 6, 7.2 million. Life-changing to the business. Income went to all the
because this was commission-based and sort of team building.
1099, thank you so much.
Referral-based.
That's right. 1099, referral-based, high-volume recruiting, and
like active pest control almost, you might compare it to.
I don't know what that is. But
it's funny. Active pest control, they door knock to sell pest control, mostly on the West Coast, even go down to Texas. And it's built on commission structure, same thing.
High-volume recruiting.
High-volume door knocking.
Yeah. Okay. Same philosophy. The only difference is highly regulated industry.
Got it.
You have to get licensed. You're dealing with Department of Insurance. I'm dealing with 49 states we're appointed in. Anyways, long story short, that ends. I start Valuetainment in 2012, December of 2012, knowing long term, I would like to see if I have what it takes to build a media company.
Wow.
And then eventually, you know, we bought the domain Valuetainment, and then we bought the domain VT.com. And then now we're all in. But the vision for us isn't, you know, just to make money and all that. So it's a lot of other things that we want to do long term. But yes. Finally,
VT, how much?
It's public. $705,000.
It's actually not bad for 2 letters.
I agree. It's a $2.2 million domain.
Exactly.
Right.
I was going to say at least 3 mil. So good job, because I was looking into MK and then for a while PP for pricing power. You know. Anyway,
the guy was a fan, and I had used his service. We had spent time together, so he gave me a break. But he was
That's
fair.
a big one.
And he's
Good
like,
for
look, I know nobody. It's just going to be Valuetainment, VT, Virginia Tech. You know, there's only a few people are going to use VT, but ended up working out for us.
Good for you. Well, something you just said that I thought was so interesting and very relatable, I feel this regularly, is you said you were looking for something bigger than money, something with purpose. Do you think you could see yourself actually retiring and doing nothing? Or do you think humans need to do something and achieve in something?
You know, it's so funny you're saying this. This is what we talked about today, and it's the big argument me and Bill Maher got 2 days ago. This is probably the worst podcast I've ever done, me and Bill Maher.
Oh, no.
Because, let me explain in what way. When you watch it, like I can't wait to read the comments because there was no momentum in the conversation. Kept getting stuck in animosity. And hostile. It wasn't good. And I'll tell you why, what the disconnect is between the conversation. So do I think, you know, everybody has to be in pursuit of something for their purpose? I know people who are retired, Kevin, and they are so happy. And I'm not saying retired, like, you know, the first 6 months you retired, everybody wants to say how happy they are and they're full of shit. Sure. I'm saying retired 7 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're happy.
Okay.
So, for example, retired, golfing 6 days a week, going to the country club, breakfast, you know, all this stuff, and they're enjoying it, and wife plays tennis, sincerely happy. I respect that. Yeah. I can't do that. I'm not wired that way. And to me, I look at it in a couple different ways. I'm working my tail off because for me, we're having a conversation right now on the podcast. Would you be okay with the president of the United States being single, never married, no kids?
Oh, wow. I feel like there'd be a whole aspect of relatability almost missing.
Okay, what else do you think would be missing?
Well, I mean, I'll say from my point of view, I've been with my wife since I was 16 years old. I don't think I'd be the same person if it weren't for her. She is so incredibly useful in my life, and in so many ways. I don't think you can look on like a dating app and be like, oh yeah, they're going to help me in every aspect of my life. But how useful Lauren has been in my life, and even having children, it's given me a completely different perspective and appreciation. So I think people should have that.
Interesting, right? I mean, it's an interesting question to say, because somebody may say, well, what's wrong with having a single president? Let's do the devil's advocate thing, and let's play that card. Why can't we have a single president? He probably has more time to solve problems than you do. He's probably going to be more, you know, decisions to make where it's not going to be tied to kids or motives or manipulation, or maybe trying to use the law to favor his kids. Like, hey, what's going on with Hunter? What's going on with Trump? So okay, maybe we can make that argument, right? There's like kind of like why the CIA sometimes, their rumor has it they will recruit people that are fatherless, no mom, nothing to live for, because it's kind of like that's the profile, right?
I mean, in fairness, that kind of business, I feel like that's the person who kind of needs to be an operative, is somebody who's totally alone.
Perfect. So watch what we just did.
Yeah.
We just qualified what position a person like that would be good for.
Agreed.
Someone like that.
Agreed.
Okay. So now let's go over there and let's talk about, you know, the whole conversation about purpose. To me, I don't know. If you can't get married, man, I feel bad for you if you can, but there's a reason why God created you that you can't, not married, you can't have kids. There's a reason why God created you the way he did, that you can't have kids. That's health. You can't do nothing, but it's out of your hands. You choose to adopt animals, whatever, more power to you. But if you have the ability to have kids and have a family, I don't know if I can live, you know, without getting married or never meeting my 4 kids. Are you kidding me? Like, take me right now. I don't have a reason to exist if I don't have this, right? So everything is finding a way to live for others. And at a certain phase of your life, you're going to be more selfish than others, and that's okay. And I finally, in the book, Choose Your Enemies Wisely, I wanted to come out with a scorecard because I looked at the guys in our company, in the insurance company, the last 20 years that did very well. And I gave everyone a scorecard on who was the most selfish and who was the most selfless and who made more money. And the score that was the best person that grew their business was 70-30. 70% selfish, 30% selfless. The most selfless people were not competitive, were not driven, were not hostile, were not wanting to prove a point. They didn't give a shit if they became millionaires or drove a nice car or won or were first place or won a trip to go to a company trip. Nothing. But the 70-30, they were selfless enough to not do something stupid. That's the 70-30 split. So on the purpose side, yeah, I mean, it depends on how many versions of you want to meet. I want to meet the next version of me. Like, I want to know, I don't think this version, if I stay like this, is capable of doing what I want to do in the next 5 to 10 years. I want to meet that guy. I want to meet the other guy, kind of like what's that actor said in one of his speeches. I want to meet the 35-year-old version of me. I want to be the 45-year-old version. I think it was Matthew McConaughey who gave that fantastic speech, right? So I can't see myself doing it any other way, but I'm at a phase when I talked to Bill Maher, got engaged at 29, and he says he was forced to do it. It was kind of like, I guess I love you. I guess we get engaged.
Oh, wow.
Never got married, never had kids. He doesn't like kids. He thinks there's too many people living on the planet. He thinks we need fewer people living on the planet. And he likes his life that way.
I'm shocked.
Doesn't believe in God.
There are... I'm more and more finding people who have that belief that we shouldn't have more children. I'm a big fan of having children. I want to have a lot of children, an army of children. And I almost sometimes feel resentment from others. Even some of my family back in Germany, like, how could you bring more children into this world? And I think to myself, what do you mean? I feel like that's my purpose, is bringing and educating, to the best of my ability, wonderful, hopefully, people into the world. So why is this becoming more common?
I mean, look, whatever. So last night we're having dinner with Dana White, and I'm telling him this conversation. We had a 3-hour dinner with him, phenomenal conversation. My kind of a guy, just a badass mother, he doesn't give a shit. Here's what he does, takes care of his people. People like to work for him, all these things, right? But then, why are people going in this direction? To me, the biggest problem we have in America, and we would fix it within 3 years. Biggest problem we have in America is hero-making machine. We have a problem with hero-making machine. Whoever we edify as heroes, others will want to be. For example, if you became the governor of California, if I am a governor of a state, right? I would, on a monthly basis, recognize the best. Every month, I would do a press conference and it was, okay, all right, let's recognize the heroes of December. Here's what we got. We got 7 categories to go through. Let's start off under 18. I have 5 great stories to tell. Here's John Doe. John Doe is 12 years old. Here's a video of what he did to save his sister. I am so proud of him. The fact that he's a Floridian doing da-da-da-da-da. Great job. So proud of you, buddy. Hopefully one of these days I'm going to meet you. I want to see more 12-year-old kids want to defend their sisters the way he did after that dog tried to bite him. You know what? And because of that, we're going to put your face in the home office of da-da-da. Okay. There you go. Recognize the next high school student here. You know what the 16-year-old kid did? His mom was sick, was in a hospital for 6 months. He kept a 4.4 GPA, had 2 jobs, work additional, making $5,000 a month, took care of the bills, took care of his younger sister. This guy's a leader. He's a hero. Boom. So next. Now let's recognize people that are small business owners who started a business in 12 months in COVID, not took money from the government, not a single penny from us. He did it all by himself. Him and his wife, after 20 years of being in, restaurant business, they built a business. They produced 9 jobs last year, and that. Next, here's somebody that's a senior citizen, 78 years old, just ran a marathon. Are you kidding? I'm 45, never ran a marathon. Boom. And then also, oh my God, next month, who's going to be the hero? Boom. And he's like, I want to be like Johnny. I want to be like Mary. I want to run a marathon. Boom. Now, 79 people run a marathon. Now, 298 people want to be like that 12-year-old Johnny kid taking care of his kids. And then it's hero-making machine. Versus today, the heroes, look at this father. My 3-year-old son told me he's a girl. And we went in, what are we talking about? That's not a hero. That is a terrible father who is listening to a 3-year-old kid, and we are afraid because we're worried about getting canceled that we can't say 3-year-old person knows how to make a decision. Are you out of your flipping mind? So then that person's a hero on CNN or MSNBC or ABC or Fox or whatever it is, then a family's like, oh, I want to be a hero. Oh, my son said too. And we're confused. Brother, for me, in every sales organization, any company you're a part of, any family you're a part of, your parents sold somebody to you as a hero. It could have been John F. Kennedy. It could have been a businessman. It could have been an athlete. It could have been a football player. It could have been a soccer player. It could have been the great uncle, the great grandpa that had a business, that did something. And you always admired this man growing up. I want to be this guy one day. America's done a shitty job the last 8 years, 12 years, selling the right heroes. We're embarrassed to sell good cops that put their lives on the line. We're embarrassed to sell good military veterans that are doing the right. We're embarrassed to recognize good people that are going out there creating jobs and not wanting to take anything from the government. We're embarrassed of recognizing those people. And we want to recognize people that didn't pay their college loan off, that didn't want. We are recognizing a lack of responsibility because we feel sorry for them. I have a very big problem with that, Kevin. I have a very big problem with that. And I'm willing to bet a lot of other people also have a very big problem with this, but they're so confused and afraid and don't have the backbone because they won't get the raise. The company will fire them. What if something, maybe they don't have your kind of money. You've been making good money for a long time. You've been making millions for many, many years. This isn't like you just started making money and you're only 31 years old. But maybe a guy's making 45 grand a year. He doesn't have your kind of backbone to make a decision like that. So they're afraid. And I understand them. So if he can't do it, I can't do it. Who the hell am I to be afraid and have his level of fear? I speak on his behalf. I speak on her behalf. It is a coward move for me to be afraid to talk about this stuff when I have the resources. Again, this is how I view it. I don't judge the other people to not want to do this. I view it that way because I think America has a massive hero-making machine problem.
Have you ever met a hero of yours and, ended up disappointed or finding out that's not who you thought they were?
It's interesting you say that because, when I was an atheist for 25 years, I used to go to Bible study Friday nights in Pasadena, Paznas, with this guy named Mono. And my friend Armon introduced me to this. And we would do debates from 6 to 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night. And I love good debates and arguments and, all that stuff. And I'm an atheist, so it was a great conversation because he was a Christian. I was, let me tell you, all this religion people, you know how many pastors I've seen get up and I said I was sleeping with his wife. And I'm stepping down. What a piece of shit pastor that guy is. How about how many priests do you see with boys? And how about how many men do you see drugs out? How about he says, look, if you judge your relationship with God horizontally, you will always be disappointed. If it's vertical, you'll never be disappointed. So I try to not put you in a category of walking on water because I'm guaranteed to be disappointed. And I look at everybody, I'm like, look, man, everybody's got flaws. Everybody's got issues. I don't expect you to walk on water because I definitely don't. I have a past. I have issues. I have dumb mistakes. I made so many dumb mistakes that I look at them. I'm like, what were you thinking? I'm like, okay, we got to move on and we got to become better leaders. So I don't look at it from that perspective because to me, it's more like if I look at you as a hero, it's because you've had a catalog of work you've done that I admire. And just meeting you, it's like, hey, man, salute for what you've done. Maybe your marriage didn't work out. Maybe one of your kids, screwed up in life. Maybe you did something stupid in your life. But I applaud you for being who you are and the level of victories you've had in your life. My standard isn't for you to walk on water. At least I try not to do that. It's a very hard thing to do, but I try not to do that.
Do you admire Andrew Tate?
I think Andrew Tate is necessary. I think Andrew Tate is a fighter. The other day, this is a very weird thing happened the other day. I'm at a game in Florida. I'm not going to say the city, but I'm watching my son play, 10-year-old son play soccer. And a father's to my left, and he comes up to me. And he says, and I'm talking to a guy because we want to do a movie together. And this guy worked on something stone, Yellowstone. So we're having this conversation together. And it's like, hey, what about if we do this project together? How much money would it cost? And this man is gradually coming closer to me and closer to me. And he says, so can I tell you something? Yes, sir. So I think you were unfair to Destiny, and I think Destiny is he would have really called that Andrew Tate, the man that you defend, who did human trafficking, and he did this. Oh my God, I'm really not in the mood. I'm watching my son play. I'm trying to get this movie conversation here, and you're coming to my face like this. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a son? I do. You have a son. I do. Would you rather have your son follow the footsteps of a Destiny or follow the footsteps of an Andrew Tate? Oh, 100% Destiny. Really? Yes. So you're okay with your son being okay with his wife while they're married, sleeping around with another man. You're okay with that. I'm okay with that. Well, I'm not, bro. I said the conversation ends right here.
Yeah.
What else do you want to have a conversation with?
You know, what I'm noticing is you are so exceptionally unafraid of standing up for your values that you don't care. You don't give a shit about what anybody else thinks. And I respect that. So good for you. But you said you still read the comments. Why?
Oh, I'm going to read all the comments on the, what do you call it?
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to read the comments. I try to read as many comments as I can, because here's how I read comments. So to me, it does nothing for me anymore, like hurting and all that. At first, listen. Oh, are you kidding me? You're like, oh, man, that one hurts. And you're like, oh my, and then you would stress out about it like over and over and over again, you know, about certain comment that somebody made. And eventually I categorize comments in 3 different levels. Okay. So one is the trolls. I love trolls. They're funny. You know, they would say certain things. I'm like, dude, that's funny as hell. The way I pronounce certain words, or the way I talk, or the way I look, or, you know, I have a weird look. I have big nose, big ears, whatever. My look is not like a regular look. Okay. I laugh at that. And I'm having fun with you on that. You know, then there's the guys that no matter what I do, I can't do anything wrong. Okay. Super fans. I don't read a lot of those, but you have no idea how much I value them and I appreciate them. I love you. Thank you. Fantastic. Without you, no one knows what Valuetainment is or PBT Podcast is. Salute, right? And I appreciate it. Compliments, all of that. Fantastic. Then there's the other guys that are hate. They come from a place of hate, and you can tell politically, no matter what you say, they're on the other side. And then there's the best ones that actually give feedback. When you get to the feedback and they say, I've been listening to you for 3.5 years. I love what you talk about, but I noticed today you were unfair and you allowed Adam to say something about Sarah Huckabee Sanders that I just don't think that's appropriate for you to do. And I was disappointed that you didn't correct them. And guess what? That person was right. So on the next podcast, I said, hey, I just want to say this, guys. I'm not in the business of talking about how ugly somebody is or how someone looks. We're not going to be doing that. Adam, moving forward, I don't want you to say stuff like that. We're going to get better and all of us going to, okay, great, move on. Okay. But then there's some people that every time you do something, they want to say stuff that you walk on eggshells. I don't do well with people that are part of the walking on eggshells community. I don't even hear you. I filter you out. Wow. I'm not a walking on eggshells guy. So if you want me to be perfect, I will listen to you this much. If your standard is perfection, you can persuade me this much. If your standard is coming from a reasonable place to want to give feedback and consider doing this, I'm all ears. What do you think we need to do?
It was very interesting because when I came on your podcast now 2.5 years ago, you had the live comments up to sort of read the room and understand where maybe that feedback is while you're live. Does that sort of help you engage with your audience? Is it trying to stay aligned with them rather than potentially risking upsetting them maybe?
No, it's good you said that though. So I listen to it for a few different reasons when I'm doing a live. I listen like today.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Like today, the first 5 minutes, our audio guy, one of our guys added a new equipment without approving it with anybody. So for the first 5 minutes we have echo and I'm just kind of like, WTF. Why do you not double check in QC with somebody else? Since when are we not a QC shop? So,
and it's not breaking news.
Yeah, it's echo. So a couple times we have 3,200 people waiting for us in a room before we go live, and 3,200 upset people are saying echo. I have to step out. I give the question to Adam, Vinny, and Tom. I step out. I go outside now it's in the vault. I don't think you've been to the vault. So I go out to the vault. I go to them like, what are we doing, guys? What was this all about? So I listen to the comments sometimes for that, but then I listen to the comments for people to disagree with me. So maybe I need to go a little layer deeper on a question and point that I need to make. And then I also like when they say stuff that's funny. Makes me laugh.
So highlighting funny comments, but
Yeah.
also mistakes. But that's interesting. So looking for that extra perspective. In that case, do you prefer to be live so that you have that almost instantaneous feedback of, oh, I don't understand. Can you go deeper?
Well, live is scarier, right? Live is scarier than pre-recorded because with live, pre-recorded, you can edit out the echo sound, or you can edit out the light, or you can edit out something fell. Guys, can we cut that here? Let me say it again. So when you were thinking about, you can always do that pre-record. Can I ask the question one more time? I want to ask the question one more time. Great. Hey, can I start the answer again? Sure. Can't do that on a live. Live is pressure. Live is actual wartime live. And you're a live guy, and you were fire on live, right? When you were doing your numbers and all this stuff. Like I'm talking COVID, because that's when you came from 20,000 subs to 1 million subs, boom, blowing up, right? And it was the live component. But live isn't for everybody, and here's what I don't mean it in an arrogant way. The #1 guy who's a YouTuber doesn't do any live. He's all pre-recorded.
Interesting.
And he beats everybody.
Do you think live is an advantage for you?
It is, because I like live.
Okay.
I like live. Live is not for everybody. Live is not for everybody because live is reaction. Live is pressure. Live is tension. Live is, high level of criticism, high level of risk. That's live.
Now, another question on this.
Yeah.
On some of your interviews, it sometimes seems like your most, or the presenter's, maybe most extreme questions or commentary will come from other folks from your office, and then you can react. Is that by design?
What is that, the question?
So for example, if you're interviewing somebody and
Yeah.
you have 2 more people with you, sometimes maybe the more aggressive questions or commentary will come from other people, not from you. Is that by design?
At all. It's interesting you say that. Zero.
Okay.
That's by design because, if you think about the podcast, I asked Ann Coulter one time. She was so furious with me. I said, listen, Ann, you ever been married before? I didn't know that. She says, no. I said, I'm getting a vibe that I don't think any man can please you. And she says, well, that's a sexist question. I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that are hard to please. I just didn't think she's easy to please. When I had Anthony Weiner on, I don't know if you ever saw the Anthony Weiner one. If you haven't seen that one, that is like fireworks, couple 100 million views, short clips on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, picked up story, reaction, everybody. It's literally him and I fighting for 45 minutes straight. And he's a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. That guy's a professional debater. So I enjoy
confrontation.
I love it.
That's good.
I love it.
And it's not to say that you're not aggressive and you don't ask pointed questions. I definitely think you do. I was just wondering if there was almost a strategy to hey, if we have maybe a more extreme idea that maybe you wouldn't necessarily
No,
say.
so let me tell you what I do miss. I miss one-on-one because I love one-on-one.
Oh, really?
I love one-on-one interviews. I mean, are you kidding me? I've done, we got Valuetainment to 5 million subscribers with me just doing one-on-one interviews.
Well, and the board, when you used to do the explanations.
Yeah, that's right. So I love that stuff.
Okay.
The thing with the board is it took a long time. It would take me 2 hours to write the stuff up because I was doing it with a marker. So I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth to do it anymore. And I'd have to come on Saturday at 7 a.m. to shoot it and write it, and then we'd record it. No, but I love the one-on-one interviews. So even right now when I'm, on the flight back, I'm like, we're going to be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays home team. But I'm going to be doing a lot of one-on-one interviews this year because I love the one-on-one aspect of it.
Wow, that's amazing. How do you balance the politics, or do you not? Are you just going to be very transparent about your views and people either like it or they don't?
Yeah, I'm not. At this point, I'm very comfortable with my politics, and probably more than ever before. There was a time I wasn't, and I was worried about it. And I was kind of like, because, Mario had one job. And Mario was right there. And I would say, Mario, anytime I get too political in any one of my videos, stop me.
Wow. So
Mario would be like, hey, Pat, that's politics. That's not politics. No, Pat, that's politics. Tell me how that's politics. Pat, I'm just telling you. Here, come watch it. It's politics. You're going to politics. You told me. God, I can't believe you stopped me, but you're right. It is politics. Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do.
You had a censor in the room.
Yeah, I did. I really did, though.
Yeah.
Mario would tell you, because Mario was always back there telling me when I would go to politics. Eventually, I'm like, no, I can't help myself. If this is how I used to buy cars. I used to buy cars by going and looking at a car, and then I'd walk away. I'm like, okay. Then I go look back again 2 weeks later. I still want it. Then I go back a month later. Dude, I really want it. Then I go back 3 months later. Yeah, I'm over it. Then I'm not buying it.
Wow.
So I had like a 12-month rule before I bought something to see if I still liked it and loved it 6 to 12 months later. If I didn't, I didn't. Here's what I did with politics. I'm like, I think it's a phase. I said, I'm not going to talk politics for 2-3 years. If I'm still interested, I'll create content on politics. 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. I can't help myself. I am interested because I don't like manipulators and gamesmanship. And I think I have a different kind of a voice that I give a perspective that the audience likes. And it works. And by the way, when I started going into political side, do you know how many competitors in YouTube side? Privately, this would always come back to me. They would say, oh, Pat's about to fall. He's making the biggest cardinal rule mistake. You don't ever go from business to politics. You're the #1 channel on YouTube for entrepreneurship. Now you're going to go into talk about politics. Pat's about to get killed. Watch what happens to him. We blew up.
Yeah.
Complete opposite.
I think your aggressiveness and candor in politics has absolutely contributed to what y'all have done.
Yeah. It was a risk, though.
You
have to say it was a very big risk. So it's kind of like, again, we're all case studies. That's why you were so important. You have no idea how closely I followed you.
Wow.
No, I'm not. And when I say followed, like past tense, that I don't do today, because you're not doing as much as you were doing before.
Right.
You were doing a lot, right? In 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Way more.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy is going to disrupt politics.
Wow.
How many 25, 30-year-olds are going to say, I'm going to run for governor because of Kevin? It was a very interesting, because remember, we still don't know how this tool is going to be used. All we know is what we see today. We still don't know how people are going to use this tool. So you took it in a way where I was fat. Look at Javier Milei, right? Look how many of the stuff he did with YouTube, with his content.
Yeah.
So we're seeing more and more of that. But I would have been very curious to see how high you would have gone. I was hoping, I'm like, I want to see this guy on the debate stage with Newsom because it's disruption, and I'm interested in that.
I would have loved that. The Javier Milei reference, is that potentially, I mean, taking the chainsaw to the budget, it's hilarious, it's great, it's viral content. Is there a risk of being too extreme?
Well, yeah. I mean, socialism is extreme, too extreme. Communism is too extreme. You know, controlling the people by force is too extreme. Using our justice system to control and eliminate opponents is too extreme. But all that stuff is going on. So would I rather have that extreme of controlling me, or would I have the extreme of a libertarian? I choose the extreme of libertarian over the other side.
Totally fair counter. Absolutely agree. What advice would you give me? Graham, Stephan, and you, right? I look at you guys in a very interesting way because you're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me. I'm 45. You're 31, bro. You have to realize, like, you're way ahead of me. I'm not where you are and where Graham, Stephan is. I'm 45. So I've found my voice and I'm confident lighting it up. But at 31, I hadn't even started a YouTube channel yet. What are you talking about? At 31, nobody knew who I was. The only people who knew who I was insurance people. I was famous in the insurance industry. That means nothing, right? So at 31 years old, where you're at, and I watch Graham, I think both of you guys have a very different kind of a voice. But you guys have one thing in common, and that's the ability to reason, which means if somebody can give you a good argument, you'll eventually fight it in all different ways. And the way you'll fight it is with research. And then you're eventually going to be like, shit, that guy's kind of right. Or you know what? No, he's not fully right. I agree with them 70%, but I disagree with them 30%. And that's going to be my position. Cool. That's great. That's the exciting part. No, my advice for you would be if you can, the edge I had, Kevin, is I got my vision at an early age and I was maniacally obsessed about this vision. And there was rage, fire, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, conviction in my belly. For whatever reason, I can't describe it. The only way I can describe it, I fully believed that God put this in my heart for a reason. So I trust being as aggressive as I am because I think he wants me to do it. Now, I could be wrong. Somebody could say, this guy's delusional. You think you have a calling and God's chosen you to do this? I'm not saying that. I think he's got a lot of soldiers. I think I'm just wanting to be one of his best flag carriers of this generation. He's given me an incredible life. He's had a lot of grace on me. Every day I go home, I can't believe I'm living this life. I'm like, is this a movie? No, it's your real life. Okay, cool. People are interested in what I have to say. Who the hell am I for you to be interested in what I have to say?
this life has produced me to get to a point that other people are coming to ask me what I think about XYZ. Thank you. What happened? How did this happen? Obviously, a lot of good people in your life, maybe some people in your life that was put there to see what kind of a fight you got that turned me into who I am today. But no, from my perspective to you is, dude, if you can sit there, choose your enemies wisely, you get clear on your vision that's driven by purpose, where there's fire in your belly, you'll know when that happens. And it's like a switch. Everything goes back to it. The drive, the urgency, the clarity, the poise, the peace of mind. Like, you know, you're living in the future truth. The concept of a future truth. A visionary is always living in a future truth. You know, it's always a present lie to everybody, but it's a future truth to you. A visionary is a bullshit artist for the first day, but after a year, maybe he's making progress. Maybe 3-5 years later, oh, he is really a visionary. So I'm a future truth guy. I believe in that. I've seen the movie already. I've seen what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, but I have to go validate that that is really the future truth, and that part's on me.
Very strong conviction. You mentioned you're an atheist, but you're also very spiritual. Is this just the acceptance of not choosing a religion, but expecting or believing there's a higher power?
I was an atheist till 25.
Okay.
At 25, I became a Christian, but I was an atheist till 25.
I
and
see.
at 25 years old, I had a moment where I'm like, yeah, no. There's no way in the world I'm going to live this life with, you know, just doing it myself. Yeah, so, you know, atheist for the first 25 years of my life, and then I became a Christian, and there were certain events that happened in my life and unique moments. And that's when I said, no, and this is my perspective. Okay, who knows for a fact if there's a God or if there's not a God? For a fact, who knows? Nobody knows. How many books do I need to read for me to know 100% if there is or there isn't? You can read every single book in the world. You're still not going to be 100%. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
We can read every single book in the world. We're not going to know. And I'm talking every book in the world. You're still not going to know. We can put Neuralink in your brain. We can put the best supplements in you. It doesn't matter. You're never going to know 100%. So faith is really a risk. Now, is it good to be an educated risk? Sure. How do you create an educated risk? By reading some book and using some guys that are former mathematicians and seeing the argument they made and going and reading maybe some C.S. Lewis, maybe some Lee Strobel, maybe some this one. It's like, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go. But the other part of it is the following. If your vision is big, the bigger the vision, the more help you need. The bigger the vision, the smarter people you need around you. The bigger the vision, the more loyal people you need around you that actually believe in your cause. Like he joined your camp when you were running for governor. You need true believers around you because they're not here because they're going to be rich with you. They're here because they fully believe in you. And hopefully they make a lot of money as well, and good things will happen to them as well. But the vision part, if it's massive, you're going to need a higher power to be with you because there's going to be moments where you can't do it by yourself and nobody around you that can help you. You're going to need some kind of a supernatural miracle support. And there isn't any employee you can hire for all the money in the world to make those things happen. You need somebody to have your back. Again, my views.
When did you have
faith.
your first child?
I was, 2012.
Okay.
I was born in February. I'm 78, so 33.
Okay. So it wasn't children that had an impact on you choosing to become religious?
No.
Okay.
No, to me, no. Not at all.
And one of the things that I've heard you talk about is you require your children to read books to earn. Can you tell me about that a little bit? Maybe even just parenting advice. I just had twin baby girls, and we've got more coming on the way. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man. It's so awesome, right? Life changes like instantly. When
it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
I love it. Listen, if I had it my way, I'd have 20 kids. I love kids. And I love all of it. Like there's part of kids that's annoying, right? You know, you're sleeping, you're hoping Sunday morning you're going to get at least 7-8 hours of sleep. And Sunday morning at 5 o'clock, they come and they're breathing right in front of your face. Dad, I can't find my iPad. I'm like, oh my God, buddy, just leave it alone, right? Relatable. And so they're sick and you're like, okay, so we go on a Christmas trip and you're in Aspen and one kid is sick, then okay, he's getting sick tomorrow, she's getting sick the next day, then she's getting sick, then it's me, then it's the wife, then it's grandpa. Let's go with the cycle. 6 weeks of people being sick, right? There's a lot of annoying things about having kids, a lot of them. But as long as that list is, the list of having kids, the benefits of it is thousands. It's unlimited. There's so many benefits that brings to you. No, so look, raising kids, what do kids need? My dad would always say love and structure. Love and structure, love and structure. When I was a kid, my dad once told me, he says, look, I'm being hard on you and I'm being tough on you and I'm having high standards with you because one day I'm hoping that you and I can be friends for the rest of our lives.
Oh.
Today, I'm your leader, I'm your father, but I want you to be my friend one day. And it's going to take a lot of work for that to happen. Man, we are best friends. I love my dad. My dad and I were roommates when I was building my insurance company for many years, literally.
Is he local here?
Oh, he lives with me in my house. He's yeah, my house is 0.2 miles away from right here.
This is I love hearing what you just said.
Yeah. So to me, and he is like, this is the only place I moved into. When I lived in Texas, I would fly him out once a month. But when I moved to Florida, I said, I'm not flying you out. You have to move here and live with us. So now he lives with us. It's awesome. He's great. He's happy. He's enjoying himself. Reading books. Hey, Dad, can I get this? How many have you read? I haven't read any books. Let's negotiate. What do you think? How many books do you think it takes to get this? Can we say 5? I said, you think this is a 5 book? No way, bro. This is at least a 12, 13 book. Dad, this is not 12 or 13. Okay, so what do you want to do? How about 7 or 8? 8 it is. Deal. Boom. And we negotiate. Okay. And I have to do 20 pages every day. It doesn't matter if we're in Christmas vacation. They have 0 break as long as I'm around. And one day, here's the hard part about setting the standard. This is the real standard. So I set the standard 4 years ago when my oldest was 7. And I come home to Jen and my nanny. I said, okay, everybody, David, when they turn 7 years old, they have to read, 6 years old, they have to read 20 pages every day. Babe, what are you talking about? That's a little extreme. Here we go again, another extreme thing, and da-da-da-da-da. I said, babe, I don't ask you for a lot of things, but I'm telling you, they're going to read 20 pages every day. Who else does this? I'm a Bet David. They're Bet Davids. I'm not compromising. They're going to read this. Melva, the kids cannot turn on the TV until they read 20 pages every day. Okay, Daddy. She always calls me Daddy. No problem. The lady's almost 7 years old, but she's always called me Daddy. Okay, cool. So I go to work, come back, first day. I come home, they're watching TV. Babe, Melva, okay. Melva at the time wanted one of these TVs. These weird looking TVs. I don't know why, but she wanted one of these TVs. So I bought that TV and I put it in her bedroom. She's very happy. I come in the next day and I see them seeing me coming and they run and they grab a book and they turn off the TV. Oh my God. So I had just bought him an Xbox 2 weeks prior to that. I come inside and I'm like, so were you guys watching TV? Dylan's like, yes, we were watching TV. I appreciate you, Dilly. It's okay. Here's what's going to happen. Grab the Xbox. What are we doing with the Xbox? Grab it with you. Grab it. We go in the trash. Throw in the trash.
Wow.
Babe, what are you doing, babe? It's going in the trash. Throw in the trash. Throw all the games, joysticks, all in the trash. I said, Melva, I'm coming to grab your TV next. No, Daddy, please, no, Daddy. I said, no, Melva, you don't respect my standard. You asked me for the TV. I got you the TV. I'm asking you, these are my kids. In 25 years, no one's going to ask which nanny raised these kids. They're going to say, who was their father? I'm responsible for these guys becoming leaders, not you. You're helping me. And I appreciate you, but I need you to understand this is my standard. And I don't want you to compromise it. Am I clear? Am I clear, kids? Babe, am I clear? I got you. Crystal clear. Next day till today, never had an issue. It became
Good for
a standard.
you.
Yeah, it became a standard. But the point, the moral of this story that I'm giving, somebody's going to watch and say, what an asshole.
I love this.
I could never be with a guy like you. I would never be with you. I mean, it's like you could never keep a guy like me, let alone be with a guy like me. This is not about some woman thing just because you're hot. It's like, oh, I can get any man you want. Maybe you can get any man you want, but you can't keep any man you want.
Ooh.
Keeping is the job. It's not about getting it. Getting it is anything. But so the standard to me is critical. I think we have such low standards today that everybody's trying to please their kids. I want my kids to like me. No one gives a shit. You want your kids to like you when they're 25. They want to come back and see you. Mm-hmm. And they're independent leaders. So that's the part where if you try to set a standard with your kids, you also need everyone around you to be bought in. So you're not only selling to your kids, you have to sell to your wife. You have to sell your mom, your grandpa, if they're like the ones that are taking care of the kids, or nanny, or whoever it is. You have to sell them, And they have to make sure you're serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're full of shit, they're not going to continue with the standard. It'll be a 1 month thing, 1 week thing, and then boom, it's gone.
You started this at them being 7.
This happened during COVID. So COVID is when? I can tell you exactly what month it started.
3 years ago.
March of 2020 is when I started this.
Okay, so
what's
4 years
March
ago.
of 20? Yeah, okay, so he was 7 years old. Yeah, because the way I had it, it was 25 laps of swimming every day. It was 52 basketball shot makes every day. It was 20 pages to read every day, and it was 1 hour of documentary every day. Now, all of those things disappeared because school was shut down. So everybody, I'm the teacher. Yeah, so I'm essentially kind of creating that as a standard, and I would choose the documentaries that they would have to go. But what did stick around from then is the 20 pages every day.
So, but at what age would you start that?
6 years old, I would start.
Okay.
And by the way, 6 years old, they're not reading like Harry Potter books, right? I love Who HQ books for the most part. Like we have 600 Who HQ books in our house. I love Who HQ books. I read Who HQ books because they're fantastic. I don't know if you're familiar with these Who HQ. These are the small, you know how you go and buy like 12 books that are 70 pages with pictures and all. It's phenomenal, right? How they have it. There's a lot of good books like that out there. But I start 7 years old with Who HQ books. And then at around 8 or 9 years old, I'm going to give you your first big book to read. And at around 9, 10 years old, you're going to get business books to read and, mindset books to read.
Always physical.
I'm physical. They've never read on Kindle.
Nice. What you touched on the woman in your life. How do you balance that with social media, desire? How do you balance it all?
Desire like other women?
Whatever.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So let's process that. So my wife and I, we met June of 2002. I was with another girl at the time. I'm in the bathroom and my friend, Fernando Lasso says, hey, there's a girl in the training room. Pocahontas is here. I said, Pocahontas? Why Pocahontas? Anyways, I go in there and I see her. She's talking to my ex-girlfriend and they're talking to each other. My girlfriend introduced me to my wife. She says, hey, babe, here's a girl. She just got started. Her name is Jennifer. I'm like, hi, Jennifer. How are you? Her hair was all the way down to her lower back. 5.5 years later was the first time we were both single. So we started dating. December of 2007, we started dating. December 29th, we go on our first date, P.F. Chang's. And then a year and a half later, we got married. And then boom, obviously we got 4 kids today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've intentionally always put her office next to mine. We've always worked together.
Wow.
My office is here. Her office is here. Like right now, if you go into the building, her office is right next to mine. So I see her every day when I go to work. When I'm on the road traveling, I travel with 2 other men intentionally. I travel with 2 other men. When you travel by yourself, you'll be tempted to do something stupid, okay? Because men have a history and track record of doing that. And I'm just like any other man. I have desires as well. I see beautiful women. I look at them like, oh my God, this girl's gorgeous, just like any other guy does. And I know I have to do my best to put myself in situations where I decrease the chances of doing something dumb and stupid, right? You have to be able to do that. And that's not easy to do. And the bigger you get, the more temptation you're going to have. And it's more quality temptation. And it's more famous temptation. And they're more direct about it. They're just coming to you and it's no filters. And so you have to be aware of that. These opportunities are going to come and you're going to be a target and it's going to be constant. But yeah, I mean, again, if you think you're bulletproof 100%, there's no way in the world, you're probably going to be the one that's going to be more likely of doing stupid things. But if you see that, hey, I can make a stupid decision. What can I do to decrease my chances? Then you're playing defense, which you're being proactive about it. But that's what I've done. About my wife and I, we have dinner every Saturday night. Sundays is my family's day. We added a tradition, summer and Christmas. What we do, this Christmas was incredible. We're at Aspen. We got this house, 50-acre, 20,000 square foot house, 9 bedrooms. We're having a blast. Kids are having a blast. We're outside, swimming pool, deer's coming, ski and all this stuff. Summertime, we go to all over the place, and then we also do our own individual trips. So there's family trips, summer and Christmas, and then there's our own individual trips that we go to. Friday night, dinner at the house. Saturday night, dinner with the family. Sunday, church in the morning. And then we'll do what we do throughout the time. Right now, I'm supposed to go pick up Dylan for soccer. But, you know, I know you and I were trying to do this. So, and I just landed right now from Vegas. I was in LA yesterday, and then I came here. But
What were you doing there?
Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas, I had a event for one of our guys. George Palaio had an event with 1,000 people that was speaking at that event with Vivek. And I had a very important meeting with Dana White. We had a great time. And then in LA, I had a meeting with a heavy-duty manager from one of the biggest agencies, and 2-hour conversation there. Then we talked to a massive production company that did a movie last year that did $250 million that we may partner with in a you know, strategic partner type. And then I was on Bill Maher, and then I had a 3-hour dinner with my good friend Stephen A. Smith, which I like that guy a lot. And he's not another guy that's feisty, fire, debate, just like people like that. Yeah.
So you have a little bit going on, it sounds like, just a little bit.
It's constant right now.
How do you see your children during the week, or is it mostly weekends?
Oh, no, I see them. Like if Dylan's got practice, I go pick him up. Dylan's right now doing so many different sporting things, and I'll go pick him up late, 8:30. So I'll stay with him till 9 o'clock because he likes to go until the lights come off. So I'll be at the field with him. So I'll go watch him play and then pick him up, come back. But I'm working every day from morning till night. You know, I'm probably 8 to 7, 8 to 8 guy, unless if I'm on the road. If I'm on the road and I'm doing meetings. The other day we had a meeting here with a guy, C-suite executive. We're trying to recruit a CHRO on the HR side. And this guy was a beast, working at Chevron before and at Uber before. So we had an interview process. It was number 3 interview. The third interview was here with all the executives. He had to give a 10-page slide presentation he gave right there. And
the potential employee had to.
Potential employee. And on Monday, we had a dinner at the house. We don't hire C-suites until we meet your wife or husband. So he came to the house with his wife, and all our executives came with their wives. And we broke bread, and we got to know the wife. And we said, what questions do you have for us? This is what we're all about. Anything you're concerned about? What do you think about this? And then I brought up my objections about whether this is going to work or not. And then when she leaves, we make a decision. What was the score? What do you think? Do you think this is going to work out? And then boom, he accepted the offer, and I think he starts February 12th. But you know, we're in a hunt right now to do something, pursuing our vision. So at a phase like this, it's a very exciting phase. But the kid part, you have to have people around you that you trust, that know you value the time with your kids, that find ways to create time with your kids. That's their job as well when you're running. Hey, Pat, we can't do this right now because Pat's got to go pick up this. Hey, we can't do this right now because Pat's got family stuff over here. We can't do this right now. Boom. So, you know how people say I'm busy? You know the saying, oh, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And then I used to say I'm so busy, and I'm like, shit, now I'm really busy. Oh, I'm so busy. I'm really busy now. I'm really, really busy right now, which means I need more help and support around me.
Ah, okay. Tell us about hiring. You're obviously known for entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So how do you handle hiring, or what advice would you give? I mean, I just heard obviously your C-suite example.
Yeah. So it's so interesting you say this. I've been obsessed with studying HR. Okay. First Vault conference that we had, my keynote speaker was Patty McCord. You know who Patty McCord is? The chief HR officer of Netflix. Okay. So she wrote a book. It's not called Impossible. I don't know. She wrote a book about HR. Everybody who wants to know about HR, go read her book. Just type it, Patty McCord, go to her book. Phenomenal book. It's not impossible, but it's a word like that. So she comes in and she tells me how they recruited people at Netflix, how one day at Netflix they came clear with their values and principles. They created a 121-page PowerPoint slide that I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. It's got 25 million views. How many PowerPoints have 25 million views? Netflix's values and principles has nearly 25 plus million views, okay? And what do they talk about in there? This is who we are, da, 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 da. By the time you're done reading, you're like, I want to apply to work at Netflix.
Yeah.
That's how they did it, right? Okay. So I've been on a mission to learn a little bit more about how HR works. And then eventually, I sit down with this guy that we're doing the interview. And I said, so tell me about Chevron. What's Chevron like when you work there? He says, oh, Chevron, it's a very family-friendly company. I said, Chevron?
Well, I wouldn't expect that.
Would you have expected?
No.
I wouldn't have expected that. Oh, Chevron's a very family-friendly company. Tell me why. You know what the average, lifespan of an employee is at Chevron? How many? 25 years. What? 25 years. What does Chevron do? Chevron likes to move people. Chevron likes to get you to work in this market and then this, and they move you to South Africa, and then they move you to this, and then they move you in different kind of job responsibilities, so you're getting more versatile. I said, but why do people stick around that long? Oh, their pension plan. They're one of the only companies that still has an incredible pension plan. Is their pension plan like a military type? What do you mean? In a military, if you're in there for 20 years, they give 50% of your salary.
Right.
25 years, 75%. 30 years, 100%. So if I'm making $8,000 a month and I give 30 years for the rest of my life, the military is going to pay me $8,000 a month for the rest of my life? Yes. Sick. I'll give you 30 years. Maybe I'm at 26. I'll go 4 more years to go from 75 to 100. Yes, that's exactly an element of how Chevron does it. So I sat there and like, what if I did that at Valuetainment? What if I say something, you give me this much, I'll give you this much. You give me 20 years, I'll give you 50% of your salary for the rest of your life. What does that look like? Can we do that? Can we afford to do that? So now you're thinking. Anyways, finally, sitting interviewing this guy, I'm like, give me Uber's HR structure, what it's like. First, I have the CHRO. Then they got this, and they got this, that. This department has this many employees. That department has this many employees. It's 445 employees. On talent acquisition, it's 500, of which 250 is full-time, 250 is independent contractor. I'm getting all this info that's in there. Eventually, with all this inventory, we finally came up with a system. The number one thing with hiring talent is attracting. Attracting. Most people don't attract. To attract, you have to be known. You attracted him. You didn't recruit him. You attracted him first. He came to you, right? And he didn't come to you because he's like, I want to help you. Why? Because you're attractive. I'm going to come and be attracted to your vision and your cause. I'll help you out. People say, I want to go work for Facebook. Man, what an attractive opportunity to be a part of. You know, I want to go work with the Milwaukee Bucks. What an attractive guy Giannis is. I want to work. I think this guy's going places. So if you're lucky, number one is attract. Then you recruit them. Okay? Then you engage them. This is where the ball is dropped. We'll come back to engage here in a minute. So attract, recruit, engage, retain, then you lead, build, drive, duplicate. Okay? Lead, drive, build, duplicate. Those 4 things. But let's go to engage. So what is engage? Onboarding. Too many times somebody hires somebody. They don't really know what they want them to do. They haven't taken the time to write out exactly what they want that person's job description to be.
Sure.
I want you to do X, Y, Z. Then I want you to do this. I want you to do this on Monday. Then I want you to do this on Tuesday. Okay, great. Then they don't bring them to an environment that they don't know anybody, so they're not getting acclimated with other people. So imagine, typically when we go to a place and we don't know anybody, who do we talk to? Nobody, right? Because we're like, dude, I'm not comfortable talking to anybody. So somebody that's onboarding, hey guys, this is Johnny here. Johnny's going to be helping us with this. He's working with Kevin. Hey, Larry, hey, meet Johnny. Johnny's going to be doing this. He's going to be working with Kevin. His background is this. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Billy. Hey, guys. Hey, what's up, Johnny? What's up? And I'm boom. It's kind of like, oh, okay, what's up? Oh, wow, really? You went there? Yeah, me too. No shit. Yeah, crazy. You went there? I went to that college. Now they're going to do lunch together. Now there's some kind of an affinity and some kind of a relationship being built. And then follow-up engagement. So how is that going on? Did you
over Zoom?
Anything that may be, right?
Yeah.
Anything maybe to engage them. Zoom, obviously, it's a different kind of an environment.
Yeah.
But engage is key. The more we engage the new recruit, manage expectation, onboard them properly, tell them the step-by-step process on how we do certain things and procedures within the company, that increases the likelihood of you being able to retain them.
Now, how did you apply that when you were small?
Say that again?
How did you do that when you were starting out?
Very hard, because nobody knows who we are, so you don't attract.
And you also don't know what you want everybody to do yet.
That's right. You're right. But so the first time I hired a C-suite executive, I'm like, dude, I have no clue what I tell this guy to do. All right, so what'd you do today? Okay. Good job. You know, it's like shit, and it was almost scary when you hired the first executive. Because this person's got a nice degree, worked at a $400 billion company. You know, it's like, it's intimidating. And then you hire your second, third, fourth, fifth, and you screw up. Most of the time, you screw up the first 100% of C-suite executives you hire. I got lucky with the second one. He stayed with me for 10 years. He ended up having a multi-7-figure exit when we sold the company. Very good situation for him, so he was very happy. That's the benefit of coming early, right? You get equity, additional ancillary benefits that comes to you. But yeah, you don't know. But here's also the thing. When you bring somebody in and they say no to you and you're small and they're fully qualified, they also know you don't know everything. And they also know they're going to come and show to you results very quickly. because they know how they can help you out. That's what makes them a leader, right? They're going to come in and they're going to say, I just want to let you know, I talked to everybody on the team. I found out certain things. Here's the good, bad, and the ugly. I think this person we need to fire. I think this person we need to retain, and I got to work them. But I think these two people, we got to give them a raise because we can't afford to lose these two people.
Wow.
That's a leader when they come in and do something like that. And then a couple other things. I know it's not part of my responsibilities. I went into the other department because I think there's some kind of a connection between my department and theirs. I met with the heads of all those departments and those departments. I took all of them to lunch. Like, this guy's a leader. That's what leaders do. You have to tell them to do that kind of stuff. Okay. And FYI, one thing I did, I want to look at our website. I found 17 mistakes. Don't worry about it. I've already talked to Larry. Larry's already addressed 16 of them. The last one, we need to do graphic design. So we're working on that mock-up. I'll show you 5 options to see which one you like. I think one of the pictures I saw there from you is from 4 years ago. I don't think it's a bad idea for you to do a new photo shoot. Maybe whenever you're ready in the next 2 to 4 weeks. Like, do you see what this person's doing? This is what a great executive does. They play offense. So that's that part with hiring. But when you're smaller, which one of those matters the most? Selling the dream. You have to sell the dream. Because when you're smaller, nobody knows who the hell you are. Why am I joining your company? You got to sell me the dream. Let me tell you what the vision is. Here's how we got started. One day I was doing this. This is what hit me. I saw what this company was doing. I read this book called Blue Ocean Strategy. We felt like we can do it better in this way. And here's where we're going to be one day. And this is the friendship. And that's why I think if you get involved with us and if this works out, we can potentially do this one day. You're selling the dream. As you get bigger, the less you have to sell the dream because it's already obvious. Everybody knows, right? So good question, because it's timing on when you recruit them.
See, I like what you just mentioned about how we can improve something. It's all about providing value as a business. A lot of folks, and quite frankly, media today, see capitalism as greedy or taking versus spreading. What's your response to when people...
So Elon's worth what? $250 billion?
Yeah, and his daughter, or still daughter? Anyway, one, I think she's trans now, did she? Anyway. But she disowned him because Elon's the greedy capitalist. So, okay, that's right. Elon
that's
example.
Right. And by the way, he says that's the toughest thing. He says, nothing hurts me more than when I think about my daughter. Okay, that brings him a lot of pain. But let's talk about Elon. Okay, $250 billion. Of the $250 billion that he's got, how much of it, of the company, is not his net worth? So what's Tesla worth? What's SpaceX worth? What are all these companies worth? What's X worth? He lost $30 billion on X already because he bought it for 44. It's only an $11 billion company, so he lost $33 billion there. But the reality of it is, he doesn't own 100% of Tesla, right? He owns a percentage of
15
Tesla.
or something like that.
He owns 15%. So if he owns 15% of Tesla, and let's just say that's $150 billion to his net worth, where's the other 850? Other people that became millionaires, decamillionaires, hectamillionaires, and billionaires because of an operator getting to work. How many Teslas are out there? How many jobs did that create? How many, unique jobs created for somebody that's working on the semiconductor chip that's not even here it's in Taiwan? Do you know how many international jobs this capitalist has created? Again, go back to thinking about hero-making machine. Bernie Sanders, who is a socialist, communist, on his honeymoon, he decides to go to USSR, Soviet Union, on his honeymoon. He's a true communist. Him and his wife go there. And Bernie Sanders, the level of hypocrisy with people on the other side, gets up there and talk about all these millionaires and billionaires. Millionaires and billionaires. We got to tax these millionaires and billionaires. And then he becomes a millionaire, and you see the video. The year he becomes a millionaire, we need to start taxing these billionaires and billionaires. How come you don't say millionaire anymore? Oh, because you're a millionaire now. Oh, here's another one for you. Bernie Sanders' wife, I think her name is Jane. She got a $106,000 advance on a book 7 years ago. The publisher still doesn't have a book. How many publishers give $106,000 to a writer? How long do you think they expect to get a book? A year, 2 years, 3 years, 7 years? They still don't have a book? No book. Why don't you give the money back to the publisher? They're such socialists and communists. Why keep the money? You haven't delivered on the product. Here's another one for you. How about when Bernie Sanders was bitching about Amazon and Walmart going to a minimum wage of $15, and then he gets caught that he was paying his employees $13, and he had to.
You really like Bernie?
No. By the way, here's the thing. I like Bernie more than Hillary. Let me tell you why.
The emails?
Let me tell you why. The reason why I like Bernie more than Hillary is I actually think Bernie believes in what he talks about.
Oh.
I don't think Hillary does. I think Hillary will say anything to get elected. I don't think Hillary is I think Hillary's a staunch capitalist. She's a center-right person, but she runs as a Democrat because that's the party that she can get the votes from, and she'll say anything and everything to get elected, right? But like Nikki Haley will say anything to get elected. Nikki Haley, 70% of the people that voted for her in New Hampshire weren't Republicans. And Trump, 70% of the people that voted for him in New Hampshire were Republicans. So Nikki Haley, Democrats like Nikki Haley. So they'll support her in a way because, they kind of don't want the other guy. But yeah, socialism, communism. So for capitalism, we can bash, capitalists all we want, but they're results driven. California, Newsom, oh, he's a winner. Oh, he's a politician. Bill Maher said this. Oh, he's just a winner. I said, based on what? Do you have any data? Oh, he's a winner. Based on what? Oh, shut up. I'm just saying he's a winner. That's it. So he's a winner. Do you want to talk about data? I said, let me ask you this question. In the history of California, been around since 1851. Let's rank the top 5 worst people that negatively impacted the state of California. I said, I don't know where Newsom ranks, whether he's number 1 or not, but he's one of the 5 worst people that hurt the state of California. Why? 1851 till COVID hitting. The next year, every year, the state has lost people. Why? Why do you lose people? When a company loses employees, they say, oh, such and such, Jeff Bezos just lost 6 of his executives. He must be a tyrant of a CEO. So that's what he is. But no, Newsom, 350,000 net migration, negative 50th worst state of people leaving to another state. Oh, they're leaving because they're greedy capitalists, don't want to pay. They're avoiding taxes. Oh, really? So what a great spin job you're doing. Maybe it's because he sucks as a governor. Maybe it's because homelessness, 46 out of 10,000 people in the state of California are homeless, and it's climbing. Why? People are sick of it. Taxes high. Why? You had all this money you spent. How? Why? COVID, people left you. Why? You paid people in your state for people to report others if they were going to work and they were non-essential, and there was some kind of, I think Villagrosa or one of the mayors was paying $200 if he can snitch on somebody. What kind of a state are you building? So numbers will say that guy's not a good governor. Now numbers will say DeSantis during Florida, number 1 net migration, number 2 is Texas, number 3 is Tennessee, 49 is New York, 48 I believe is Illinois. Why? It's results, right? So the thing with capitalism is you can actually say this guy's a good capitalist, this guy sucks because it's data driven. Politics, it's bullshit. Because politics is about who can do a better job spinning, who can do a better job gaming.
Yeah, you had very strong resentment for the idea that Hillary would say something that she doesn't believe in to get votes. That was clearly more disgusting to you than Bernie being hypocritical. Am I clear about that?
Of course. By the way, AOC, okay? AOC to me is, I actually think she believes what she talks about, and she's a fighter. You got to respect that. Okay. AOC is, now she's going to get older and maybe some of the policy is going to change. But I think Nikki Haley, she'll say anything to get elected, anything to raise money. Hillary Clinton, anything. Newsom, anything. By the way, this isn't a left thing. This is a quality of a man that's willing to say anything to get elected. So Mitt Romney, second debate with Obama, he's ahead. He challenged him on Benghazi. He's supposed to be president. His campaign people tell him, hey, people don't like it when you call the president out the way you did. You're losing votes with single women. Be a little bit more gentle on the third debate. He's simple and easygoing on third debate because he wants to win single women that like salad. Okay, and what happens? Romney will never in the history books be known as a president because he was listening to some campaign guy telling him what to say. What do you believe in? Get up there and fight the fight with Benghazi. They made a mistake. Say it again. No, you got timid. You conformed to some consultant that told you what to say. You screwed up. You deserve everything that you got for not being a president. You will never be known as a president because you listen to a consultant that tried to get you to please an audience and you try to be like everybody else. You lost. The other guy who talks shit as a president, you'll never be a president. Same with Hillary. Unfortunately, again, my opinion. Somebody can debate it. break it down. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. This is my opinion.
You've mentioned Desantis is a big reason why you, your family, your businesses moved to Florida. What exactly about Desantis drew you?
I think he defends free market capitalists, job creators. I think during COVID, Newsom shut down Disneyland. DeSantis kept Disney World open, and the businesses around Disney World kept thriving, and they were making money because a lot of Orlando's small businesses made money based on the tourists coming to Disney World. That's a big business there. So imagine a local restaurants or additional things that people want to do around Disney World, the hotels, all that stuff. You shut down Disney World, hotels are getting hurt. Everybody's getting hurt. Theaters are getting hurt. So case study, again, Newsom case study Disneyland, Florida case study Disney World. He shut it down, 78,000 jobs or whatever the number was. Here, DeSantis kept it open. Great. Yeah. Hey, all these Republicans are bad people. They suck. Black Lives Matter. We're the NBA. BLM. Black Lives Matter. Governor Newsom is a real great governor. I'm sorry, Adam Silver and LeBron James and NBA, where did you guys host your playoffs? Oh, Orlando, Florida. Oh, wow. Respect. Because Florida's a free state. Brilliant. Huh. UFC, Jacksonville. You know, California. Hey, data. Are you kidding me? Like, you know how many people move to this state? This is how much taxes we pay state. You pay 13.3. I don't know what the numbers on how you do, and I'm sure you got good accountants, but you pay a lot. This is it for us. 0. Right? I was in Nevada yesterday. By the way, they're starting to be very competitive. They're being very, very competitive, right, on who they're attracting and what's going on. Dana White swears by Nevada and Las Vegas. He says, this is my town, this is my state. He swears by it, right? And people are moving. Mark Wahlberg moved there. A bunch of people are moving there. But yeah, again, data-driven. Number one, homelessness over there. Okay, I mean, there's so many different things I can tell you. But yeah, DeSantis provided the lifestyle that I wanted to have, and that's what we ended up in Florida.
If it was about taxes, why not Puerto Rico? You could have been at 4%.
Not the best education for my kids, not the best lifestyle. Again,
you considered it.
I did, because they have the 420 rule, right? You know, 4% over 20 years and all that stuff. And a lot, I think Logan Paul is over there. I think, you know, Schiff is over there. Gammon, I think, is there. Quite a lot of people are over there. But I'm married with young kids. And when you're married with young kids, you make different kind of decisions than when you are not married, and maybe you don't have young kids. Maybe you are married and your kids are older. I'm married. If I was 62 years old or 58 years old and my kids are all grown about 25 years old, I would consider Puerto Rico. But I'm also an operator. What I mean by an operator is I work every day, and I'm coming to an office with people that I want to work and build with. And Florida is a perfect place for me to be, because New York, 3 hours, boom, boom. I'm in a good place. Market's good. Lifestyle is good. I enjoy this place. Puerto Rico gets hit by a hurricane every 2 years, and it's not a pretty one when it hits it. Hurricane Jose destroyed Puerto Rico.
The infrastructure is much weaker than what you have in Florida to withstand the hurricanes.
We have 700 insurance agents and PHP in Puerto Rico. Yeah. We know Puerto Rico law pretty closely, our lawyers and our accountants do. And we have a lot of offices in Puerto Rico, but it's a different kind of an infrastructure.
Did you ever move to California?
No.
Wow. Even if it was zero tax?
Today?
Yeah.
No. I like it here. I'm good here. I like it here. By the way, and I'm not trying to be condescending. I love California. I'm not sitting here playing, you know, I'm a LA kid, man. I'm a Tupac guy. I'm a To Live and Die in LA. That was my song. And, you know, I'm a guy that Too Short, you know, music, Rappin' Forte, San Francisco. I'm Eazy-E, NWA, Ice Cube, Snoop. I'm that guy. I'm a diehard Laker, Kobe guy. First time I didn't root for the Lakers was when LeBron moved to the Lakers. But I'm all LA. I just think they screwed up. And I know a lot of times people are like, hey, do you have any more? What if you come to LA and you run and you do governor or something? I'm good. I'm happy where I'm at right now. I think California is eventually going to have somebody like yourself that I think is going to run and win. And they're going to turn things around. But till then, they have to find the right person to run, because Larry Elder couldn't do it. They didn't support him. It's going to be an interesting cat to be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Did DeSantis go too far against Disney? Did he make a mistake with the anti-woke movement? Is that what sandbagged his campaign?
I don't know. I think DeSantis made a few mistakes, but every time you play, it's easy to always say the mistakes that the individual made, right? So, and everybody does it to us as well, the mistakes you made. So I was on a Twitter space the other day, X space the other day, and they were asking me questions. That's when DeSantis suspended his campaign and he stepped out and endorsed Trump. And, what do you think about this? I said, look, let's just face it. For about a week, the DeSantis camp is going to be sour, upset, annoyed. And we can't be sitting there saying, I told you so, I told you this, I told you that, and like kind of being an asshole about it. Like, your team won. Congrats, bro. Good for you. And you move on, right? But there's a few things. When I had him on the podcast and we were having a conversation together, one of the things that was very interesting, I think his marketing campaign sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I think their team thought Trump was going to be dropping out because, and I think this is the big one, Kevin, I think their team thought he was going to drop out. And when he was going to drop out, he would have came in and defended Trump and MAGA would have gone behind him. I think that's what he thought. And the more and more they waited, they realized, shit, that's not happening.
Right.
So now what do? You have to go against Trump. And they kind of, when I communicated with their media team, you know how they talk to you? They talk to you as if he was already the president.
Oh, wow.
So
Really?
unattractive.
That's
Yes.
a little arrogant, eh?
Oh, it's so unattractive. So unattractive. And they got more and more humble by the month. And the more or less they were ranking, the more humble and easier they were to deal with. So unattractive when they had the money, and they had the success, and then just kind of a little bit pompous. And then the other thing is, when I asked him a question, I said, so when you decided to run for president, did you ever call Trump? Why would I?
Oh.
Like, what do you mean, why would you? That guy helped you become a governor. You think you would have won without him? I still would have won. You won by 34,000 votes. You wouldn't have won. You wouldn't have won. The truth, you know it when you say you would have won. You would have never won without him the first time. Second time around 1.5 million, you won. First time around 34,000, he helped you win.
Wow.
That guy was your flag carrier, but you don't want to give him credit. It's a little bit unattractive. So I said, in my mind, if he would have called president and gone to Mar-a-Lago and met with him and say, hey, I want to run. Okay. Are you okay with that? And I believe President Trump would have said, I think you got to do what you need to do, but I value loyalty, so you can run, but be respectful, and let's see what happens later on in the future. And if I'm the candidate and I got a big lead ahead of you, I expect you to support me and drop out. I think Trump would have said something like that. So to not have that conversation and that meeting, you know what that told me? That told me you don't have diplomacy. Because if you're having issues with Putin and all these guys, you're not going to go meet with them. First thing you need to do is, hey, I'm flying out to Russia. I want to have a meeting with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, Zelensky, let's have a meeting with me, you, and Putin in XYZ.
Right.
Hey, Xi, we're going to have a meeting. That's how Trump is, and he's willing to have that meeting. Reagan was like that as well. A lot of these other guys were like that as well.
Isn't that important, being in person with people?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. That's why I'm not a work-from-home company.
Yeah.
We're not. We like people to be at the office.
What do you say when people say, oh, but you're not going to hire the best talent and you're not going to get, people aren't going to work for you?
Okay, I say you're wrong, and let's see what happens.
Good for
if
you.
you think you're right, good for you. But I think, I said this one time, and I said, so for those of you guys that work from home, a couple of them were single. I said, you ever go on a date? Yeah. I said, how much more ambitious will you be when you're on a date? If you're at a physical restaurant with the girl sitting across from you on a date, or if you're having a glass of wine and so is she, but you're on a Zoom.
Oh.
I said, I want you to think about this. If
Such
you're
a
at
great
a
analogy.
restaurant, if you say the right words, maybe she goes home with you.
Yeah.
But if you're on a Zoom, you don't give a shit. She's not going home with you anyways.
There's no chance.
So you're not going to put the effort that you would if you were face to face.
Wow. What
It's
a great
the reality
analogy.
of it, right?
Is Trump going to win?
Oh, this is politics, man. This is a very dirty game, and this is going to come down to the wire. I think Biden's going to step down at the DNC.
Oh, wow.
Have you looked at the Vegas odds? Have you seen what's happened the last few days?
No. Is
last
Newsom
couple
getting
weeks?
priced in or what? A
Oh,
replacement?
No. Newsom was in the top 4 always. But you know who's number 3 today?
Phillips?
Michelle Obama's number 3 today.
Wow.
What does Vegas know that you and I don't know? Why did she go from 100 to 1 to 11 to 1? Michelle Obama, Vegas odds is 11 to 1 right now, from 100 to 1. You think Vegas is in the business of losing money? No. What does Vegas know? So number one right now is Trump, 1-1.
Yeah.
Meaning you bet 10 grand, you make 10 grand.
Right. Yeah.
Biden, I think, is like 2-1 or something like that. So he's still second. But number 3 is officially Michelle Obama. Number 4 is Nikki Haley. Number 5 is Newsom.
See, that's so interesting. When I met with George Gammon, boy, I don't even remember where were we. Anyway, I just met with George Gammon. And, it was in Texas, in Dallas. And I asked him, hey, the yield curve inverted in like, what is it, August of 2019. And I'm like, come on, how could that have predicted COVID? That couldn't have predicted the recession. He says, it did. And I thought this was the most interesting thing. I really respect George Gammon. He said, Kevin, if indeed COVID leaked from a lab, which we think it did, then those scientists called people, and those people made bets. And the inverted yield curve was our insight into those bets being made. The betting market was right and predicted COVID.
Wow. By the way, that's why you got to watch Vegas. You got to pay very close attention to Vegas.
It blew my mind.
That's
I was
right.
like, there's
Crazy,
no way.
right?
It's crazy.
We should go do some boots on the ground research soon in Vegas.
Yeah. I was worried you were going to say Wuhan.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The last topic that I have, thank you for your time, by the way. Gen Z. People are very discouraged that they're never going to get into home ownership, that they're not going to be able to make money or start a business, that they may as well just give up. What are you going to say to your children?
Gen Z. That's funny. Gen Z is more likely to be part of LGBTQ than Republican. Did you see that stat that came in today?
Wait. More likely to be either lesbian, gay, transgender than Republican.
Oh my God, it's comedy for me.
Because that's supposed to be 50-50, but you're comparing like what, maybe a 10%
no,
to
it's not supposed to be 50-50.
Wow.
It's supposed to be dramatically like, a chance of being a
Dem versus Republican 50, but the other would be like 10% versus a 50% odd, like 10-90
this
versus
is
50.
not even political. That's like the LGBTQ. They're more likely to be LGBTQ than to be a Republican.
Wow.
Gen Z right now, 40% of them, 39% of them, according to an article that came out today, turn down promotions because they value harmony and balance more than they do money and advancement in life. Gen Z, they're so confused today. And it's totally fine. It's totally normal. Here's what happens with life that all of us went through. When I was 21 years old, I'm clubbing 6 days a week in LA. I'm going to Saddle Ranch on whatever the night it was. I would go to, Miyagi's. I would go to Dublin's. I would go to Palace. I would go to Garden of Eden. I would go to Century Club. I would go to all these crazy places.
Same night, of course.
Same night, yeah. But no, I was out running 6 days a week. So guess what? I'm living for myself, sleeping in, relaxing, kicking back, drinking, working out, girls left and right. No care for anything in the world, right? And I valued, balance in life and who wants to do this and this and that. Okay, totally get it. Then there's 3 things that you have an edge on in life. You're going to change, Gen Z. But you're going to change because of one of 3 reasons. And here's how life works. You're either going to change because of intentionally. You're going to choose to change and not fall for the BS that everybody else is falling for, the trap of saying, oh, I value harmony and I don't care about all the money and all this. Okay. Keep saying the stuff you're saying. If you choose to intentionally change, you got an edge. A lot of times people, wait till their dad dies and then they say, I love you. A lot of times people, get their act together and stop doing drugs and alcohol because their girlfriend and the love of their lives or their wife left them. And then they change. They don't change intentionally. The people that win at the highest level choose to change. That's intentional. Second one is accidental change. What's accidental change? Accidental change is I all of a sudden get a job with you and I'm around you. Accidentally, all of you are talking about not eating, sugar. None of you guys drink soda. So I'm like, okay. Like, for example, I haven't had a single Coke Zero or Coke or any kind of soda since July of 2019. Why? Because I'm having lunch with David Hayes and Ian Benedict. Ian Benedict looks like freaking Brad Pitt, good-looking guy. And David Hayes is a awesome guy. Both of them are great guys. One's my CFO, one's my CIO. And Ian Benedict, I say, Ian, I noticed you just drink water. You don't drink soda? No, I don't drink soda. Really? Yeah, I haven't drank soda for a long time. I said, how long? He said, 7 years. I said, okay. I'm not going to drink soda for a week. So here, you can take this Coke Zero. I set it aside. That's the last time I drank soda. Why? Because of Ian. That's accidental. That wasn't intentional. That was accidental. People around me. So you have a benefit by the people you're around. And then the last one is force. Unfortunately, many of these Gen Z people are going to be changing by force. And force sucks. Because force, one day they're going to wake up and they're going to realize the person that works from the office gets a promotion and you don't. They're going to realize the person that is reliable, shows up on time, works hard, adds additional skills, gets a promotion, and you don't. You bitch, you show up late, you blame, you keep quitting jobs, blaming your boss. You've changed 6 jobs in the last 2 years. You're not reliable. You're not dependable. You're the biggest complaining, bitching. You want everybody to give you something. You're entitled, and eventually you will be forced to change. The forced community always have the worst life. They always have the worst life because nothing great happens in life by you being the person that's forced to change. The best life are typically the people that intentionally choose to change or accidental. The forced community expect a very difficult life for many, many years to come.
Has entitlement gotten worse?
Of course it has. Because again, but going back to the same thing I said at the beginning, hero-making machine. The reason why Gen Z is doing what they're doing is because that's the hero we're selling. We're selling that as a hero, and they're buying it. We're selling people going and complaining about their jobs on TikTok and it gets 28 million views. Oh, let me go bitch about my boss because that's cool to do, right? We're selling writing negative reviews about companies. How about creating a Glassdoor and flip it? How about we write reviews on you? How about we write reviews on employees, not the other way around? Maybe you were a terrible employee and maybe the last 4 employers agree with me, but nobody knows about it. So guess what? The 5th company is going to be screwed to hire you and they're going to get somebody that we could have saved that person a lot of time. Or you would have had to change because your score sucks. But no, we don't want to score employees because, no, HR won't let you do it. Oh, no. No, we need to fully put the accountability on everybody because life is hard. So these guys sitting around bitching and complaining about it. And by the way, again, I remember being 21. And I remember I was also somebody that complained. I was somebody that didn't want to, I understand all that stuff, but I chose to change.
What changed you? Because 25 is when you turned religious.
Dad had a heart attack. Dad had a heart attack and he was going to die. And I went to the UCLA Medical Center and I saw the nurses were not being quick to my, getting to my dad, and they disrespected my dad, and then I disrespected them, and cops came and they kicked me out. And a lady said the most powerful thing: what makes you so entitled to think we have to take care of your dad quickly? You know who pays for your dad's health care? The government does. Taxpayers, not you. Oh my God. I'll never forget that lady. And I just lost it. Kicked me out. I'm downstairs in my car crying like a little baby. I'm like, your dad's going to die because your lazy ass wants to chase girls and go freaking party 6 days a week. And for the rest of your life, you will never say this to anybody, but you will hold on to it internally. Your dad died because the only son he had was a freaking schlep. You will eat that. You will live with that for the rest of your freaking life. You want that man to die? Keep doing the same shit you're doing. Go ahead. Came to work the next day, started working 100 hours a week. And then I retired my dad. And then it was done. And also it helped that one of our relatives disrespected my dad in front of me. And I brought him home and I said, the world's going to know how amazing of a father you've been. And I guarantee you're going to have to kill me, Dad. But they're going to know your last name. They're going to know your last name. They're going to kill me if they have to, but they're going to know your last name. I promise you. I was 24, 25 when I told them that. And then I never went to the club. It was so bad. One of the girls I was dating, dropped that gorgeous girl. One of the most beautiful girls I've seen in my life. Second to my wife. Dropped that gorgeous girl. And she's like, there's no way you can resist me. I said, I'm telling you, I'm done. She says, there's no way you can resist me. Comes to the house in a birthday suit. And I'm like, dude, I'm going straight to the bathroom. I know how to please myself. You don't have to worry about this, but you got to get out. And she's like, you're going to say no to this? Not easy, but you got to get out. And that's when I knew I could control. And I said, okay, good things are going to happen to you. I'll never forget. And she knows who she is, and she knows the story. We're still good friends till today. But it's when you make real decisions and everybody around you realizes it's real, and you realize it's real, and you want to make some sacrifices, I don't know why, but great things happen to you. Again, intentional, accidental, force, a part of the decision I made is because my dad was at UCLA Medical Center. He didn't die. He's still alive. But I chose to say, I'm changing. Everything in my life changed.
Good for you. That was really empowering.
Why Christianity specifically? You went from denying 1,000 gods to denying 999. Why that one?
Well, listen, I mean, Christianity for me, when you study who Jesus was, nobody denies that Jesus existed. Not Muslims. The only one that do is Jews, right? And Jews don't even deny. Jews just say that he's not, the prophet. He's just the guy that came in, good man, but not the Messiah, right? Okay. And he says he was. And what are the chances of the guy that is born, his mom says, I didn't sleep with anybody. And my skeptical self on how I am, I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. How many women back in the days would say, I didn't sleep with anybody, and they were in a barn with somebody getting hooked up, That's probably what she did. Okay, let's say you're right, Pat. Baby's born. She's saying, I haven't had sex with anybody. I don't know what's going on here. The baby is born. And then that person who you claim that lied, that son ends up becoming Jesus? What are the odds of all of this crazy stuff happening at the same time? Kind of weird, dog. Wow. Makes me a little bit uncomfortable, right? So, and then you're like, okay, what are the other religions that I have to choose from? I like Buddhism, but it's not religion. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. I think I would have been a Buddhist because of that's bringing your temperament down. I'm fully about Stoicism and what Seneca did and what, a lot of these guys, Marcus Aurelius did. I'm a big meditations guy. I'm a big Stoic guy. But yeah, for me, it was a lot of those things that led to my decision of Christianity.
Wow. Advice, final thoughts for any of the viewers, whether it's wealth creation, investing in yourself, entrepreneurship, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple things. One, best benefit, like if you want to accelerate speed, is there's such a big benefit to working under somebody that's a killer, that's on a mission, that's winning, and being able to get in the door of that person closing deals, negotiating, winning, deciding, hiring, firing, chaos, nasty situations, having to slay some dragons or whatever it's going on, because you learn how you go through the shitty situation. Like, maybe even there's an enemy and there's like a, real war going on with another competitor. If you're able to work under somebody else and shadow them, it's the fastest way for you to have success. And the second thing I'll tell you is, if you can get clear on your values and principles, and the way you live is as aligned to your values and principles as possible, you will have the closest chance of living a, fulfilled, peaceful life. But anytime I was bitter or miserable or annoying to be around, is because the way I was living didn't match my values and principles. It was like this. So you're not aligned. So you kind of feel like you're lying. You're like a con. You're like, hey, I'm lying to people about my values and principles. I'm faking it. I'm boom. Okay, fulfill appearance. Boom. So that alignment concept to me made me realize I want to be here because this decreases additional problems I can create in my life.
Did that alignment help you deal with commentary on social media?
Yeah, a lot, because I know who I am, and I never consider myself as a saint or guy that does everything right. No, I'm flawed. Just right now, you didn't see me 2 hours ago. I just lost it. 2 hours ago, he was in a room, furious because a person didn't QC, and they know they need to QC. And this person, I said, "You're so arrogant." I said, "You know how arrogant you are?" He says, "Why am I arrogant?" I said, "Because you never ask anybody for help."
Wow.
You never ask anybody for help because you think you know it all. I said, I ask the most common question I ask every single flipping day of everybody is, what do you think? You don't have the audacity to ask anybody, what do you think? Because you're that arrogant and full of yourself. And because of that, you break things. You break things. And that's a sign of an unreliable person. That's your problem. And you're like a lone ranger. You don't want to talk to anybody, have somebody else kiss you with. Just 2.5 hours. When did I come here? The reason why I was 30 minutes late is because of debrief meeting. We never do debrief meeting. We had a debrief meeting. That's why I was 30 minutes late. Because I was having a meeting with them. It was not a fun conversation to have. I was not happy about it. But
it sounds like you were close to firing him.
Well, I told him that. By the way,
You're fired.
I specifically told him, if this happens ever again, it's your last day. And I love this guy.
Wow.
I love this guy. It's one of my favorite guys. But you can't. I said, in the military, you know how many bad soldiers it takes that make one bad decision for people to die? We all would have died. If we were in the military, we die because you're being selfish. It's not cool. Can't do that. Can't make a decision like that. So, again, I'm not solving for perfection. I'm solving to be a leader amongst leaders. That's my priority in life. And as long as I'm going there and, I'm falling off every once in a while, but I'm going in the direction, I'm fine.
This has been incredible. I think normally I say, how do people follow you? But I think people know where to follow you. Anything specific you want to shout out, though?
Maybe one thing. We launched an app, Connect, that crossed 150,000 downloads. And this is a life-changing app, and I want to explain to you why this is a life-changing app. 7 years ago, I talked to a lawyer of mine that I had a 7-minute call with. He billed me for 30 minutes. I called him. I said, why'd you bill me for 30 minutes? We had a 7-minute call. I have the phone saved, screenshot. He said, well, because minutes roll up. I said, not to 30 minutes, bro. Not to 30 minutes. I said, what do you charge by the minute? That's what I'm going to start paying for moving forward. He says, no lawyer charges by the minute. I said, one day, I'm going to build a platform that people get to pay anybody by the minute. So guess what? Do you have a minute to connect? Let's Connect. We launched the app Connect. And on Connect, guess what? How often do you email somebody or DM them and they never get back to you? The idea of DMing somebody and expecting for that person to get back to you is an entitled mentality. If you value that person's time, pay for a response of a DM. Pay for a phone call. Why would I pay a YouTuber? Because that guy's got a couple million subscribers and you don't, and that's a very valuable time. So on Connect, I get to pay you for a text and you get to respond in text or audio. I get to pay you for a video and you get to respond to me with a video.
I like that. Pay in text. No, I want to do it.
Or I get to pay you to do a 15-minute FaceTime call with you. And literally, you're up here, they're down here. Time goes down, you sit in the middle, add another 5 minutes. Add another 5 minutes. Whatever price you charge, you make 80%. Connect keeps 20%. We have users right now on Connect making anywhere between $100 to $5,000 a day using Connect. So if people want to find me anywhere, you have any questions, anything you want to talk to me about, you can Connect me. The app is MINNECT. You can find it on Android and iOS.
What's the best price point? What are you finding? I know it's dependent on the person, but where are the magic numbers?
So right now we're about to have 4 users cross 1,000 Connects, which happened in it's an interesting thing that's going past 1,000 Connects. But it depends. There's guys on there that are private equity guys managing $1 billion. What is that worth to you to have a 15-minute call with them? Or ask them a question and saying, hey, I'm a new advisor with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. There's guys that have got a few million subscribers of YouTube channel. You're stuck at 5,000. What is it worth to get a question back from a Sean Cannell with 2 million subs who wrote the book YouTube Secrets? What's he going to give you? There's guys like a Justin Waller who is like a stud of a guy, young guy, successful, financially free. You're a young man going through. What is that worth to you? There's guys that have built insurance companies, sold it for a few $100 million. What is that worth to you? There's a couple billionaires on there that have built an app. What is that worth to you? How about marriage, lawyer? There's lawyers on there, dentists on there, doctors on there, psychiatrists on there. So you get to decide. At the beginning, one of the best things experts do when they get on, they start off with a low rate, and then you get to raise it later on because it's good to get a lot of Connects at the beginning so you're ranked higher. And then you can kind of bring it up and say, well, I've done 220 Connects. Then you raise your price for whatever it is.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to it again sometime. Thank you so much. And I think, when we post this, I'm going to have a Connect link down below.
Fantastic.
Patrick, I want to ask something. We have a fun recurring segment on our channel. Okay. So let me set the stage. There's this person last year that appeared in the news a lot, named Person of the Year by Time Magazine, Taylor Swift. Do you have any thoughts about Taylor Swift? I know you've had some segments on your shows about her. What are your thoughts on Taylor Swift?
What a freaking brand, right? Imagine building a brand that brings in $5, $6, $7 billion, and Peacock pays $110 million to have the Kansas City Chiefs against Miami Dolphin game on Peacock that Charles Barkley flips out over. 23 million people watch this game on Peacock. Why? Because Taylor Swift is at the game. Taylor Swift's changed the game. Okay, what was a podcast that momentarily got ahead of Joe Rogan? The Kelsey Brothers podcast. Why? Because he's dating Taylor Swift. The brand of Taylor Swift is absolutely phenomenal. It's a phenomenon to the point where even Harvard right now, do you guys know about the Taylor Swift course in Harvard? You can take the Taylor Swift course at Harvard. It's a class in Harvard. It's so popular that there's a waiting period because everybody wants to find out how to build a brand like Taylor Swift. Love her or hate, you can hate her, love her, whatever you feel about her music. I don't know her music. I know my family listens to her music. If you put it, I'll know who she is, but I couldn't tell you a song of hers right now. But that girl, what she's done to her life and a brand, salute to Taylor Swift.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purposes of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services we may benefit from. I also personally operate an actively managed ETF and hold long positions in various securities mentioned, including potential short positions. However, I have no relationship to any issuers, nor am I presently acting as a market maker.